been nearly a week since Israel launched airstrikes in Iran, and now Iran's supreme leader is threatening, quote, irreparable damage if the U.S. joins their war. Joining us this morning is Holly Dagres, senior fellow at the Washington Institute. Holly, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me on the program.
Holly, as you watch what the president has been saying lately about what the U.S. may or may not do, what are your thoughts as we enter the sixth day of this battle between Israel and Iran?
Well, I think it's noteworthy the footage you showed earlier of U.S. President Donald Trump talking about, well, they should have negotiated with me. So these strikes began on Thursday night. And actually, it was official. The Omani foreign minister had announced that the U.S. and Iran were going to be talking on Sunday. And so obviously that fell apart, and we're in this war now. And it seems like there's no end to it for the time being, because the president has said that Iran cannot enrich uranium, and he said it repeatedly, and the Iranians believe it's their inherent right. So what is it going to take for them to meet halfway? Because right now there are still civilians being caught up in this war, and especially Iranians who don't live under an authoritarian government, who don't offer them air raid sirens or shelters in this terrible time for them.
Is the issue of developing nuclear power exclusive to the current Iranian leader? Because that is Israel's stance for initiating this conflict, because Iran was developing these nuclear weapons. But even if, you know, and then we had the president say yesterday that we know where Ayatollah Khamenei is, but we don't want him dead for now, I think is what the president said, something to that effect. But even if Iran was to, put a new leader in place, would that change the direction of its nuclear program?
Well, first I should start by saying Iran does not have nuclear weapons. This is a known fact. Our U.S. intelligence assessment says so, that they have decided not to develop weapons just yet. So this is a preemptive action by Israel. Nevertheless, I should note that we had something called the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or the Iran nuclear deal, that was signed between the U.S., Iran, and other world powers in 2015. President Donald Trump withdrew from that deal in May of 2018 because he thought he could get a better deal. And now that he's back in office, he has brought us to this point where he didn't even allow diplomacy to succeed itself, and gave the green light for this war to begin, and there's no end in sight so far.
So we've all heard about the deal that the president withdrew from in his first presidency, and now he wants a new deal. Do we know what changes he wants in a new deal with Iran?
Well, as I've noted earlier, he said that he wants Iran not to enrich on Iranian soil, so zero enrichment. And this is actually a point of contention, and that's what they were negotiating over the past few weeks. And Iranians have said that it's their inherent right to nuclear energy. They've spent billions of dollars on their nuclear program, and before this war began, their nuclear scientists have been assassinated. So they feel that giving up that option, the option to weaponize, would put them in a situation like Iraq and Libya.
So they want to be able to eventually be able to have nuclear weapons. I'm trying to understand how that goes from the development, enrichment of nuclear power for energy to nuclear weapons, perhaps.
I think that's a really good question. I think that's been this is part of the worry, is that they have not decided to enrich, to go all the way in their nuclear program just yet, and they've said they'd like the option. And this is the whole point of contention with the U.S. and Iran over its nuclear program. They want to be at least able to have the option to enrich, and not have, and for them, this is where the conversation in these negotiations have been very contentious over. And it is very confusing to that layman person. But when you get down to the details, it kind of explains itself a little bit more.
Yeah, it is something that we are watching here, because Iran, both sides are digging in here. Iran, Israel, and the U.S., we're still not sure what's going to happen yet. Holly Dagres, senior fellow at the Washington Institute, thank you for joining us this morning and providing your insight to us.